Hello and welcome to CMPAC Spotlight, where we shine the spotlight on our local talent and producers here at Access 21. I'm your host, Keith Roberson, and today I have with me here Queen Lima.
Hey.
How you doing? Dear?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here.
All right.
Real quick, Queen Lima used to be, well, she's one of my former students. We did podcast class together.
Yes.
So I'm really glad to see you here in this seat, actually putting in the work that we talked about in class and doing your own thing. So I'm very excited to say that.
I learned from the best.
Come on. That's very presumptuous, like assuming that you talk about me.
Absolutely.
But so let's start here. Who is, I'm gonna say, Queen Lima? Who is Queen Lima?
She is a phenomenal human being. She is very caring, honest, outgoing, extrovert, loves people, loves entertaining, all of that, all of the above.
Okay.
God-fearing.
Okay. So is there a difference between Saleema and Queen Lima?
Nope.
So,
no different.
Okay, so why did we decide to go with a different moniker for it?
Because I am a queen and I just needed the world to know it. Just,
Right.
you know.
Awesome. Okay. At the risk of being presumptuous again, when was the first time you fell in love with podcasting?
Probably when I was taking a class, because it was introduced to me by a friend of mine who is my co-host at times. And she just felt that I would be perfect at it. And my past, the people I know and things like that, she thought that that would be a great platform for me, being a podcaster. And took the class, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
So when did you start podcasting? Like when was your first episode?
Like last year.
Last year?
2024.
Okay.
Not summer, maybe towards it was kind of chilly.
Okay. All right, so last year, maybe in the
fall.
Okay.
Let's say fall.
Okay.
Winter, fall, maybe.
Do you remember like your first episode, like how you were feeling about doing it?
Yeah, it was interesting because
walk us through that.
Touching all the equipment, troubleshooting, calling people, and they're like, "Am I live?" Like, give me, it was just, I just always had a lot of fun with it, no matter what it was, no matter if it was troubleshooting, no matter if it was just guests that couldn't make it or my co-host that couldn't make it for whatever reason. I would still sit there and I would just fiddle around with things and get familiar with it, and always had a good, it's just, how can I say it? It's me. I'm a podcaster.
Yeah. Okay. Though you mentioned like you even love the process of troubleshooting. What are some things that you've had to troubleshoot? I know you mentioned like guests and stuff like that, but what are some other things?
The phone not ringing while recording. I've had a lot of problems with that. How to just not just turn off the intro music, but to slowly fade it out.
Okay.
Certain things like that.
So you're learning how to like produce a show and how to make it more seamless as time goes on. You're learning what works, number one, what works for you, but what also works like from a sonic standpoint. Like what is the most pleasant way of doing this so that my listener, and that leads me into another question, so that my listener has a good experience. So obviously it's a podcast, so you do audio. Do you do video at all?
I have, yes.
have?
I've done video. And what I would do was just, start it. I couldn't like move cameras because I'm hosting, so I'm not can't get up and go to the board and
Right.
So we would just set it up as to where myself and one of my special guests was my son.
Okay.
So where he and I were just on it, and we had a good time with it also, with calling people, getting people to, it's just experimenting and getting the aha moments, and stuff like that. It's
Right.
great. It's a great experience.
So we keep referring to the show. What is the name of the show?
Old School Kickback, baby.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we come up with that?
I'm old school.
Okay.
I'm from the old school, the hip hop, the break dancing, the popping, So sitting there with my sons, they always say, like when they're going out with their friends, we going to a kickback, or Mom, can we have a kickback? So that just means you chilling and having a good time and, conversate, whatever.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, let's just do old school kickback.
I dig it. How much influence does New York have on the podcast? Of course, it's you, it's all over you, but how much influence does it have on the show in particular?
Everything. Everything, because like you said, I'm New York, and I'm from the Bronx, the borough, the
Right.
Bronx.
The boogie
So
down.
that's where hip hop originated. That's where it all started. So, it's just in me. It's just who I am. It's just.
Dope. So how would you describe your show to someone who's never seen or heard a podcast, and therefore have never heard your podcast?
Right.
Like, how would you describe it to them?
It's a forum where we come and we talk about everything from the old school. Like when my son was on there, we were comparing the old school to the new school as to saying like, son, I'm so sorry that you can't go hang out with no issues or with no worries or anything like that, which that's never the case because you're always worrying, you're always concerned, but it's just more frequent now.
Right.
Like they can't even go to house parties now. So
it's
then I had guests on there to call in, and we talked about how we used to just roll up in different people's house parties, and it was good.
Yeah.
You might get a look like, who is that? But then after that, it's all good. Not doing that these days.
Right, absolutely.
So, we just you can compare. It's just whatever, like mostly everything is going to be old school because they're just bringing it back now. So it's, could be old school versus new school, whatever.
This is true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's coming back now that, I experienced it when I was a kid. I'm thinking that we doing something brand new, and my parents were like, bro, we was doing that in the 70s, early 80s.
Like now they're remixing songs with what they consider old school, and I'm sitting there singing, thinking it's going to be the song I know, and it just breaks off into some. Right.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Right.
So you could talk about anything under the sun with that.
So I know that you talk about I don't want to say any and everything, but you talk about a lot of stuff. Like, do you have like a target demographic? Do you have like a target or like target subjects that you like to talk about? Like, here are my evergreen topics that we go into, like say it may be like a slow news week, or I may not have anything that I want to talk about in particular, but I got an episode to produce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was one show that we did after the Olympics with the breakdancing. And I had two guests that voiced their opinion along with myself and Miss Coach Kizzy. We were the hosts, she was my co-host, and then we had two guests.
Yeah.
That was powerful. Now, it wasn't video, it was all audio, but it was strong.
No,
it
so
was
I was listening. I was definitely listening to that one. But it was in November of 2024. I don't mean to get on you a little bit.
I know.
But, so what's the so I'm gonna ask the question, I'm gonna pose it this way.
Yeah.
Are you doing episodes? Are you doing your show seasonally? Like, do you take breaks and then you come back and drop maybe 10 episodes or whatever it is? Or or like how is that working?
My issue is the editing, right?
Okay.
That's what's just slowing me down. So I'm going to get with Access 21 and I'm going to get to those classes because I have great footage. I have footage on social media things that went viral. And I'm just holding on to this. I can't wait to blast it.
Yeah.
Because when I blast it, it's interesting. It's just dope. You'll be looking forward to the next one. I also want to get on the forum where people could start calling in, where I'm just not inviting guests and but they're calling into the show and we're having a conversation.
Definitely.
So I got a couple of more things to get under my belt with Access 21.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
it's getting ready to pop off.
Yeah. You don't feel like you can just record and then just put it out?
I can't.
Like even like just starting where you are and just putting it
I
out.
feel like I can.
Yeah.
But the thing that stopped me, because when I listen to it back, you know, I'll write down the time. This could be one segment. This time, this, They don't go over more than 45 minutes anyway as a whole.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, you know, I can break it down. And the way I would break it down is like I was saying, the issues with the telephone ringing and maybe somebody not picking up. So then I'm like, okay, well, they didn't answer. Well, let's try another one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
There's
I think that would be kind of dope because it's kind of just
too.
live
It's,
and real.
Yeah, it's raw. It's out in the open.
See, don't do that because I'll go right in there.
I'm trying to encourage you to do that.
I will. When I
You
tell
wanna
you,
hear more episodes.
I promise you that I'm ready to do that.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that I have, like I said, is so raw and it's so dope. The only thing that stopped me was that little phone call part, like with that phone ringing. But I could drop it because I came back and was like, you know what? All right, let's try somebody else, y'all. Give me a minute.
I mean, I think, you know, BTS is BTS for a reason. People love to see that type of stuff. And I'm not saying that you need to be unprofessional about it or like just overdoing it. Like, oh man, you don't have anything together.
Right.
But like sometimes those little...
No, it's not that bad.
Right, exactly. Sometimes those little flubs in the show give the show character and, you know, it brings out who you are as a person. It puts the audience member in it with you. I learned so much about podcasting by listening to podcasters mess up and listening to them produce on the show. You know what I mean? Of what to do and what not to do, about how something should have gone and all of those things. I think you start and then you just continue to grow and get better as you go. You got, put this stuff
All right. It's going down now.
Please, I'm gonna
definitely going down now.
I listen to podcasts all the time.
All right.
So I would definitely, like, no matter what you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we move off of that.
All right, let's go.
I'm off your back.
All right, thank you.
Tell us about your recording process. You know, tell us about the process, about the beginning, the pre-production, the production itself, into what would be the post-production.
I'm kind of spontaneous, to keep it real.
Okay.
I'm kind of spontaneous. Like I said, when my cousin and my best friends and all of that went viral, they went viral on a Thursday. I was here in the studio on Friday.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, or if I see, like the breakdancing with the Olympics. It happened here. I was in the studio the next day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm more of like a spontaneous. I have ideas that I want to talk about, you know, but I like I like that part of it. But I do need to have more of like I think like a plan. It's just so natural for me to just go and just have a conversation. That's just who I am.
So we got a clip of yours, and we, you know, regarding the show. So we're going to take a look at Old Skool Kickback and Saleema.
Queen Lima.
There you go.
In the
Pretty much, this show is going to take you down memory lane.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to evoke all the emotions and the memories from back in the day. We want to take you to the house parties. Matter of fact, no, we got to go back to the jams. Because if you know old school, you know that it started in the parks and in the schoolyards, okay, first. And then it became the house parties. And then it became the clubs. And we got stories for days about all of that.
But I want to hear y'all stories too.
Yes.
I know y'all just don't want to sit here and listen to us run our mouths. I want to hear y'all too.
All right. So I'm hearing rumblings about Super Friends. I got to ask about that.
Janelle, Queen Lima, Coach Kizzy, and Sonia.
Yeah.
We took classes together. And ever since that first class, we've been like this. We've done productions together. We've stayed in contact.
Absolutely.
We boost each other up. We give each other confidence. We tell each other, keep going. And it's just an amazing friendship. The Super Friends. Thank you, Access 21.
No, I think that's dope because I always encourage people in my class to do the same thing, to do what you guys have done, even prior to y'all. But I remember mentioning that to you all. So I'm glad that you took my advice.
Yes.
I'm glad that y'all took my advice to, hey, you guys are starting together. This is a way to continue on, encourage one another, and all of those things.
And it's crazy because I'll come in and do a podcast and see Sonya or Janelle or, and it's just like, oh my God, it's
No, I think that's
love.
really...
I love it. And everybody's talented. And like I said, we'll have conversations, and it's just ideas flowing. We also have ideas that, we're conjuring up together.
That's good.
So look forward to the Super Friends.
That's good. Do they encourage you in your endeavors in regards to the podcast and things like that? Are they subscribed? I don't want to break up a friendship. I don't want to break up a friendship. Maybe
those are my loves.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Like and subscribe, everybody.
I'm going to get you.
No,
I'm going to get you.
That's why I asked you backstage, what can I ask?
No, I don't care. Listen, like I told y'all, I'm an open book.
Absolutely.
I don't have anything to hide. I'm good. Those are my girls to the day.
Mm-hmm. So speaking about that, keep staying in the same vein. What are some things about your podcast that you would like to improve on, or things that you are dissatisfied about that you know that you can do better in, or whatever it is?
As far as my podcast, I'm good with it. What I do want to work on is, like you said, maybe getting a what do you call it? Treatment? Not a treatment, but getting, more like format.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe put a little bit of more format on it. This is what I also found out I have problems with too, is what I want to work on, is not the host, me, screaming over my guests and vice versa.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Knowing when to hit that button to,
it comes with time.
Yeah,
time.
that's happened in my last.
And it comes with working with your co-hosts more and like feeling out the beat.
Not the co-host, the guests.
The guests.
We get so excited. It's just like
you just start talking.
And I'm like, wait, and I'm trying to talk over them, but you can't hear me, but you can still, this kinks. I'm still.
Yeah, absolutely, and there'll always be things to improve on, which is why I asked. Because my next question is, where do you see it going? Like, where do you want to take it?
Big. I mean, I have so many people that know I have a podcast that are like, just let me know when you want me to be a guest on it. I'm ready, and I'm like, all right, okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited on where this could go.
Absolutely. But like, where do you see it going? Like, where do you want to go? Like,
I want to be.
Let's skip. Are we talking Oprah status? Are we talking?
Yes,
Sky's the limit?
absolutely.
I'm with it.
Absolutely.
I'm with it. Okay, so what makes your show different from other podcasts, even right now?
I'm not going to say it because it's a secret. And being that I haven't done what I needed to do on my end, I don't want anybody to take my secret and run with it.
I'm with it.
I honestly feel like that. Like, my podcast is so amazing that if somebody else gets it that's a little bit more experienced than I am, so it's just I'm that's just, and like I said, they have like all of these radio stations now that's out. I know New York has something called The Block. They don't play nothing but old school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's I'm Oprah status. How about that?
I hear that.
And I know that's where it's gonna go.
I hear that. So what's the best part about producing a podcast? I know we talked about a lot of things that we enjoy, a lot of things that we've noticed in the process and all of that, but like what is, when you think about it, what stands out to you? What do you think the best part of it is? What do you think the worst part of it is?
Listening to me and how much I enjoy it. Once I hear the feedback, once I listen to what I've done, and I'm like, because when you're in it, you're just in it. But then when I'm listening to it, it's like, oh, okay. All right, Queen Lima,
Yeah.
you got this.
Yeah.
And it just makes me want to do it a lot more. Just the everything, the whole aspect of it, the whole just getting prepared, the whole doing your intro, the whole doing the outro from the beginning to the end. It's just so like, I just love it.
Right.
And then it just makes, and then for my guests that I have on it, to hear how enthusiastic they are, to hear it in their voices, like, we're like, it's like y'all knocking on the door like you got 5 minutes, and I have to like slow it down because we're so into it and we're having so much fun. I got to be like, all right, we're going to continue this another time,
another
part
time.
2 coming up or whatever, yeah.
They come knocking on the door.
They got to
Oh,
get,
you
your
your
time is almost up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you had that experience yet, like where you thought an episode was going to be great and then you listen back to it and it was like, it's just, I love it.
No.
Good.
I mean, I'll even forget about certain things that happen, and I'll just like, it's still funny to me.
Yeah.
It's
like
not
it's
like,
somebody
okay,
else.
let me forward, let me go past this. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that happened, and I'm listening and I'm laughing, and I'm like, dang, I need to put this,
Okay. Sounds wonderful. Sounds like everybody should be listening, and we're looking
Yes,
forward to more
absolutely.
episodes from you. Because, from what I was listening to, I'm like, this is something I could definitely listen to.
Thank you.
But absolutely, you got a good voice and all of that type of stuff. So other people can hear it. Where can they hear this? Where can they subscribe? Where can they like this? Why are you looking at me like that? This is promo time, baby.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a couple of shows on Spotify.
Okay.
And that's it for right now. I'm looking for more platforms, but as of right now, you can hear my episodes on Spotify.
I found it on tvaccess21.com. So you want to shout us out.
Access 21.
So I'd like to thank you so much for being on here. Much more success to you. Thank you so much for keeping at it.
All right.
Looking forward to what else you have to bring to the table in regards to this. Thank you for being a part of this platform.
Anytime.
Known as podcasting. And thank you for coming on the show as well.
Thank you.
So from all of us here at Access 21 and CMPAC, from yours truly and Saleema as well, this has been CMPAC Spotlight. Good light and good night.